close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we...
Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mercy Kibe. Today I'll be sitting in for Rose D, and I'm loving it here because we have a watch party here with the girls, and we are continuing with our talk on breeding on others. So today we move a step further and look into breeding in relationships. And I believe each and every one of us here in this panel has had an episode or an experience where people have bred on you, or maybe bred on others. So before we go on, I would like to have the girls introduce themselves, and as usual, my fan.
Our fan.
Our fan. Please carry the show, you know.
Hi everyone. My name is Irene Kitheka. I totally am enjoying myself during these sessions, and I'm glad to have a party with these girls. Thank you.
Yes, go on.
Hi team, my name is Josephine Wanjohi. I'm a transformation life coach, and I'm so excited to be part of this team. I'm looking forward to a wonderful session. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is your coach, Coach Rose D. Welcome to this episode. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm Sarah Mbogo. Thank you so much for having me in this show, and I'm glad to be here with you to have a discussion, meaningful discussions, and let's have a chat.
Oh, awesome. So today we have two new ladies, and I don't want to ambush them fast. Definitely I'm going to go to the lady that I love ambushing about. Sumbula, breeding in relationships. I know in the previous shows we have talked about breeding on others, and we are able to see how it manifests or it brings itself out when you're talking about what the whole concept of breeding on others. Now let's narrow it down to the different types of relationships that we have. So what would you say about breeding in relationships? Yeah.
All right. Thanks. I think one of the things I know with regards to bleeding in relationships is some of the relationships that we have, for example, are do we call them love relationships between a guy and a lady? That's the kind of relationship that people have.
Yes.
We also have professional relationships where you could actually have a relationship in the workplace, where you basically are a colleague, colleagues in the workplace. That is that kind of relationship. Then, of course, we just have the social relationships out there, where you have people all over in your life who do not necessarily have an impact in your life directly, but you still have relationships with them. For example, you have the Uber guy who's coming to pick you up, or you have, or you're basically going to a clothes store. That's a relationship with someone. So basically what we're saying is that bleeding happens in any kind of relationship. So as long as you're a human being and you're relating with someone, whether it is intimately or loosely, so to speak, directly or indirectly, there will always be some kind of bleeding that will take place. That's what I really can get it off my head.
I'll come to Coach Josephine because I think she loves saying this word, bleeding is breeding. So just tell me, breeding is breeding. What is this breeding is breeding, despite the relationships that we are in?
Thank you for that question. I feel that when it comes to breeding, we are talking about hurt people who are hurting others.
Yes.
And it does not matter what the context is. What matters is the state of the person. So the same person who is a family person at home, as a mother, for instance, I'm the same person who has a colleague, at my workplace, and I may bleed or extend the bleeding on them. At the same time, I'm a mother, so I have children, and so when it comes to parental relationships, again, I may bleed on my children, and so on like that. Yeah, so that's how I take it.
No, Sarah, I think Sarah is getting into the momentum here. Breeding is breeding. We have breeding in relationships, in co-workers, breeding on parents and children. So maybe I know you're coming in and you're telling us, I need to bring in this different dynamic of what breeding can all mean to you. Maybe you have an experience or what you'd like to share.
Basically, how I understand bleeding is that it's hurting. It's a form of hurt. It's a form of a hurt, which basically extends to the other person, who probably necessarily is not even, part of your circle or something of that sort. But then they have to come and deal with you as a person who is now hurt, and they have to be hurt because you are hurting.
Yes.
Yes. That is how I am getting the bleeding in relationship.
They have to be hurt because you are hurting.
Yeah.
And so now, you have to hurt other people because they are hurt.
No, it is not a must that I hurt other people because I'm hurting.
Yes.
What I think about when it comes to bleeding on others is that it doesn't have to mean that when I'm hurting, I have to make sure the other people are hurting. When you get to a point of self-awareness, and I think we captured it in the other episode,
Yes.
you're able to control your emotions. When you're hurt, because hurt is an emotion, you're able to control yourself not to hurt the people that are around you. And there are people who will not be able to control themselves, and that is when you find they are going to a point where they are now passing that hurting the other people.
I love that. They're now passing that hurting to other people. And I want to touch on something about, I don't know whether to frame it like romantic relationships or how do we call this? The babe. I had someone say that if your boyfriend is calling you babe, that's a new level. Baby, that's another level. But baby, you can just start planning on how you're going to go and take your matrimonial. Isn't it the dowry? Yeah? Now, let's talk about this babe, baby, and baby relationship, kind of, because I think that is what that's why we're experiencing so many killings, you cannot handle a breakup. Some women will just become toxic because someone, as in, you leave a relationship, we have a breakup, maybe there's a child involved, but you feel entitled to that man simply because there's a child, but there's no relationship going on here. So I don't know, Sarah, can I come back to you and just ask you, what do you think about this hurting in relationship whereby you feel already the romantic bond has been broken, but you feel entitled? Is that some form of bleeding that we are trying now to bring out in that entitlement?
Yes. At some point, yes, you can call it bleeding. However, I feel that how it comes to play is that I get into a relationship. Probably I did not heal from my previous relationship. So I'm carrying my burdens to this new relationship.
Yes.
So I find that I cannot be able to deal with this other person in the same way or light with how I dealt with my from the previous relationship. And you find that the other person has to really work hard to try and prove themselves.
Yes.
Because why? You're hurt. You did not give your time. You did not give yourself time to heal, so that you can now be able to get into another relationship.
Yes.
So you find that it's a roller coaster of emotions because you're carrying burdens from a previous relationship. Possibly you find you did not have a discussion. You did not talk about it. You did not go out to actually just deal with what really happened in the previous relationship.
Yes.
So you find that your new partner now has to carry the burdens of your previous relationship. And that's how you bleed now onto this other person who has no relationship with you.
Yes. What I'm picking from Bula, what I'm picking from Sarah, she's saying now you bring in a roller coaster of emotions. Now, let's talk about something very sensitive people don't want to bring in. A child in this setup. That can come in as a baggage on itself.
I think I can go first, Mercy.
Yes, she wants to catch that.
There's something that we actually don't understand.
Yes.
That for us to have a baby, in most cases, we don't usually have planned to have that baby, right? There are those that we plan, but there are those that are like, oops. But this is what I have to say. If you're coming into a relationship as a lady, and let me talk now from a lady's point of view,
Yes.
I would advise that you ensure that you're ready of any outcome. So that in case this relationship doesn't work, you'll be in a position to handle that issue on your own. Because have you not seen so many deadbeat dads around?
They are deadbeat dads.
Because they feel this child was brought on board by somebody who did not maybe have a consent with me, or they feel they are inadequate, they are not able to take care of the baby. So I would advise that us ladies,
Yes.
when we are getting into a relationship and we are having unprotected sex, sorry to say that,
You don't have to
we
be sorry.
need to be ready
Yes.
for any outcome. You could bring in a kid and somebody just walks out. What
Yes.
happens with you? Are you going to take care of this baby?
I think
What happens
this
to
is-
you and the baby now? Because this baby is my entitlement to hold on to this man.
I think one of the things as women,
Yes.
in terms of relationships, is that the first thing is if you end up having a child with your partner, call them a partner now. You need
Not
to
babe.
understand it's not the babe thing, you know, that happens, you know, when it's all
everything is
rosy,
sweet, when there's no
yes, when the
baby.
baby is being made. But when the baby does show up, and you realize that, for example, this person basically is not interested in this particular baby, so to speak. Now the real baby, the child. The child. I think it's important, first of all, as a woman, to be able to find a way to accept that rejection. It's very, very critical to accept that rejection. So once you accept that rejection, then you will not again end up starting to bleed on this child.
Thank you.
Because even before you end up bleeding onto the supposed, the supposed father of this child, you'll end up bleeding onto this child. Because, for example, if you're even when you're pregnant and the rejection took place, your emotions, your negativity, your energies will go to this child. And sometimes, and this is really, really sad, you find that there are children who are born, they are full of anger. I mean, you're thinking, we call children little angels, but if you look at this child, there's no angel here.
You don't want to name that child.
You know, there's no angel here.
Yes.
Because as a mother, you already experience so much bleeding
Yes.
when you're going through the pregnancy. So when you have this baby is already shattered. These babies, because we give birth to what we are.
Definitely.
You get.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
At the end of the day, as a parent, as a mother, you need to understand rejection could take place. And if it takes place, deal with yourself first before you start, because entitlements here are on another level. I'm sure we'll discuss that later.
Yes,
But
actually-
that's not the issue, really. Just deal with yourself. Deal with yourself to realize that the first person to get the negative effect of your bleeding is this innocent child. Really.
I know you're saying we'll deal with entitlement. I'm still stuck with children caught up in these breeding relationships. And they're being pulled from one parent to another, or the child becomes the toy determinant of, I need to stick here because we have this child. Coach, you're passionate about children. I know you speak out loud on what is all about good parenting and parents not breeding on their children. So what advice would you give to these parents who are having a tug of war involving the child as a trophy to be won on keeping this relationship intact? If I make sense with that long statement, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
It makes sense. And before I respond, I would wish to go back to what we are talking about, the parents, even before we get a child in the picture.
Yes.
Because most of the time, we have spoken about maybe a mother who is, a lady who is coming into a relationship from a previous one, and maybe she has some baggage. But also, I like emphasizing that that particular lady, the man she's getting into a relationship with, also has some hurting. There's no way you are going to attract a person who is perfect. I mean, who is imperfect when you're perfect. Of course, there's no one who is perfect.
Exactly.
So, if we are going to address the wounds that are in the child, it will ought to, if we are going to have an ideal setup where we are bringing up that child, or even, getting the baby.
Yes,
A baby?
Baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We
No,
need
we are talking about the actual child.
yeah,
not these
before we
big
even
babies.
make the baby,
Yes.
we need to have dealt with us. If for example, because figure pointing is happening right now, a lot of it. So we want to imagine that maybe a certain woman was involved in,
Yes,
killing her
definitely.
husband.
Yes.
And probably we want to imagine now, in fact, there's some fear and some tension and anxiety and some stereotyping now happening. You have seen it.
Yes, we
coming
don't want
up.
to go there. We want to narrow
Yes.
down now to this child being used as a trophy.
Yes, the thing is this, parenting is about becoming. You must become a package, you heal yourself, you deal with your unresolved issues so that you can be able to parent, in a healthy manner. We call it like conscious parenting.
Okay.
You are not going to be able to do that until you deal with yourself. And of course, as much as it is not always possible to have two parents who are, healed to deal with the child, we need at least one sober parent to stand in for the child. Yes, so sometimes maybe we feel helpless, maybe you are, like I work with women mostly, and that is how I felt that the struggles women have mostly they are to do with relationships and children.
Yes.
Because in a way we are programmed to define our success with how well our children, grow up or respond. So that way, I discovered that women ought to own up the relationship. I mean, the responsibility to heal. It does not matter the context.
Yes.
If you continue feeling like you're helpless about your child, then the child now becomes a real victim of whatever situation is happening.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. I know I'm trying to cut her short because I know she can go on, and we cannot have enough time to discuss this because now I'm seeing an intermarriage between parenting, breeding, and bringing in this child now who becomes a pawn in a breeding relationship.
Yeah.
I don't think we can have enough time, Coach, for this, but I'm sure we can have a part 2.
Yeah, we should plan for a part 2 because it seems this topic is so huge and broad, and I can see you're vibrating with a lot of stuff that you want to share. So maybe we can give it a part 2.
Yes, and I'm sure Sarah will be gracing us because I know she has a lot to talk to us about that. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been Transformation Up. My name is Mercy Kibe. Keep tuned. Thank you.
Bye.